guys, King of Charmanders here to be your judge, your jury, and your analyst, and today I bring to you my top 5 teams for the Flying Cup. Okay, I'm just going to put it plain and simple, just to save you a whole lot of grief, because a whole lot of content creators are going to do top teams, are going to be like, oh, these are the top teams, blah, 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 blah. It's literally fast move damage hell. There's not anything too deep into any of these. You're going to run through your sets like no tomorrow, which is pretty good if you want to save time, because there really isn't that much depth in here. There really isn't. Aerodactyl runs through so much of the meta. You have Stealing Skarm, Mantine as anti-meta picks. Yes, you can use dragon types like Dragonite and Altaria, but generally this is the Aerodactyl Cup. You'll either kill Aerodactyl or you'll see Aerodactyl. But if you want to get through your sets quickly, I encourage you to use Aerodactyl, because literally that's how Aerodactyl works. This Flying Cup will do so much damage that generally you will not run it, like I have Saxopped once in this cup. Once. And that was during Go Battle Day and whatever, and I forgot, like, out of like an entire week and plus a Go Battle night, like, I've Saxopped once. That's the only once, and then that's the only fancy win condition. Other than that, again, it's fast move damage hell. You will have an Aerodactyl or you'll kill Aerodactyl. That's basically what this cup is. So nothing super fancy about it. Have some fun, run down your opponent, and enjoy the rest of your day. But before we get started, my therapist mental health tip of the day is going to be friends. I always talk about this though, but like seriously, like outside connections are like really needed. Even if you're some loner or you're an introvert and you shut out, generally you do need interaction with other human beings. We are humans. Humans generally as humans, we naturally need interaction with other people, or a whole lot of things can go wrong. That's why when you have something bad happen to you, generally friends really help you out. As a school clinician, as a school therapist, I can only tell you, when you have a kid that moves to a new place and has no friends and they have severe mental illness, usually friends help a lot. So that's where I try to guide and help. Sometimes they'll naturally find it on their own. If they do, you instill the confidence in them and kind of motivate them, like, hey, be a little more open, or maybe find someone you like. So friends are very valuable. In this case, this weekend, I went to Berkeley with a friend. We had a great breakfast, and we walked around Berkeley for a bit. University of Berkeley. Never went to a UC, thank God I didn't, because California is expensive, and I joined the military, so it was never going to happen anyways. But yes, go out with your friends, have fun with them. If you don't have a friend yet, I encourage you to go out into the community, make it. If you are invested in the Pokemon community, go to your local Pokemon community and on their Discord and talk with them. There are plenty of local Pokemon communities that talk with each other. Don't go to PvP. The reason I say don't go to the PvP community is because Twitter is a cesspool of mental illness and you don't need to go there. Find your local community. Go out there, talk to them on Discord, because there's a whole lot of individuals that never interact on Twitter. As far as my main community goes, 90% of them don't, I would say like 90 to 95% of them probably don't use Twitter. They use our local Discord. So yes, just putting that out there. But yes, your friends are very valuable for you. Make sure you cherish them. Make sure you're grateful for them. If you don't have them, encourage you to go find them. Find a community you vibe with. Even if outside of Pokemon Go, I would say it's a lot better, but in Pokemon Go as well, if you really want to go there. And without further ado, these are my top 5 teams for the Flying Cup, and let's get started. Alright, for the first team we have Aerodactyl, Mandibuzz, and Skarmory. This is probably going to be the bulkiest team that you can get that has the effectiveness. You'll find that Aerodactyl isn't going to be in a lot of the top teams I present, just because it's really that good. You could use the regular one or the shadow one. Generally, I'll use the regular one for these top teams, just because there's no real difference between both of them. If you get the mirror match, usually whoever has a charge move ready or an energy advantage will win. Or if you manage to get a rock slide or rock throw through charge moves, or if they ancient power boost, which is probably, if an Aerodactyl ancient power boost, depending on what field it is, you're probably going to lose. But like I mentioned, as far as bulk goes, this is the bulkiest team. Along with that, Skarmory does have a great shot. These three complement each other well, with the exception of electric types. If you don't get Zapdos and Emolga, the lead's going to suck a lot for you. Just because Mandibuzz and Skarmory get zapped by Zapdos and Emolga very hard in the back. So try to get Aerodactyl into the into either Emolga or Zapdos. For this, Mandibuzz will be your safe switch. I don't like Mandibuzz as a safe switch, to be honest with you, but it is ranked high, and in practice, when I did try it out for a little bit, it did decently well, but this isn't this for this team. If you're just looking for bulk, this is what it is, or kind of an anti-Aerodactyl, because your lead and closer do very well against Aerodactyl. Still commanding a really low threat score of 419, so it's a pretty low threat score even with Mandibuzz in it. Again, I don't like Mandibuzz because even though it dishes out a lot of charge moves and it's really thick, if you do get a Emolga and a Zapdos in the back, you are fried. So just putting that out there. Alright, next up we got Skarmory, Aerodactyl, and Emolga. Now, besides Team 5, everything I'm going to present to you actually doesn't have a lot of bulk, but that's natural for the Flying Cup. Everything does a whole lot of damage. Basically, you're going to beat the unholy crap out of everything super fast in this cup. Skarmory lead with Steel Wing. This is generally where you'll see the anti-Metamon trying to catch those Aerodactyl leads. That, or you can catch that, or you could swap out, and then this is kind of double safe switch, but in all, your safe switch will mainly be Emolga. So Skarmory, so Emolga is going to be your safe switch, and Aerodactyl is going to close out. Hopefully you have it with shields. Or like I mentioned, you catch Skarmory in the lead against that Aerodactyl. Steel Wing Skarmory will do a ton of work against Aerodactyl. As you see here, like I mentioned, A's across the board, not a lot of bulk. Other than Team 5, like I mentioned to you, anything without a Mandibuzz is not going to have a ton of bulk. As far as threat score wise, this is a very low threat score as well. You're not going to find a lot. Anything with an A's is going to be like 400 or below. So this team is primarily there to catch Aerodactyl in the lead, and it gives you somewhat of a lot of flexibility. Skarmory, Aerodactyl, and Emolga. You lose the lead, safe switch to Emolga, and you close out with Aerodactyl. There isn't too much deep analysis into this one just because Steel Wing charges so slowly, but is a great anti-meta move against Aerodactyl. So if you manage to get Aerodactyl lead, that's great. If not, safe switch to Emolga. Hopefully, Skarmory and Aerodactyl with shields can close out. Alright, next up we got Mantine lead, Aerodactyl as your safe switch, and Skarmory to close out. Mantine with Bubble at Mantine with Bubble actually is able to take out Aerodactyl leads. With Ice Beam and Bubble Beam, you're also able to threaten Altarias, and of course Bubble Beam debuff. Mantine, in my opinion, for the Flying Cup is very underrated. I like it a lot. When the last Flying Cup came around, I used Mantine for a little bit of fun, and sure enough, it did some work. Aerodactyl going Aerodactyl. You need Aerodactyl or you're going to kill Aerodactyl, and Skarmory to close out. Hopefully shields with Mantine and Skarmory will take the dub for you. Oh, no, this is a unique team because Mantine is decently bulky, so putting a Mantine on your team will also raise your bulk limit. I am wrong, I forgot. It's either Mandibuzz or Mantine, and it'll raise your bulk limit. But it's still only a C. But C is better than nothing, right? For this team, Skarmory and Pelipper will be your worst nightmares. The problem with Mantine with Bubble is it's still supremely slow. Now in the 2-shield, Mantine doesn't actually have a super bad matchup against Steel Wing Skarm. As you see here, you're gonna have to pop both of your shields because you don't want to deal the Ice Beam, but what you can do is you can farm down the Skarmory for a little bit of extra energy. So it's not that bad. So you could throw Emolga, you could sack Mantine a lead and throw Emolga into it. What's weird is why you don't Bubble Beam, because if you do Bubble Beam, or if you straight Bubble Beam, you actually beat this you actually beat Skarmory with Stealing into 2-shield. So that's straight Ice Beam. But you can also beat Stealing Skarm just going straight Bubble Beam. So I don't know why the sim matches up this way, but yeah, straight Bubble Beam Skarmory will lose in a little over a minute just because of your debuffs. And the problem with this is that the reason this is kind of really iffy or really risky is just because of the fact that they will be able to get a little bit of farm on you after you go down. So yes, you win the lead, but if you lead something with a little bit of energy like Mantine, you're gonna get taken out. Also, Bubble is a little slow, but Mantine does beat Aerodactyl lead, so another kind of like anti-Aerodactyl to just put out there. Low threat score as well. Again, Skarmory and Pelipper gonna be. I don't foresee Pelipper being used a lot in this cup. Screw me if I'm wrong, but Pelipper is just way too squishy. It will die to Aerodactyl very quickly, so just putting that out there. You'll lose the lead, safe switch and Aerodactyl, and then hopefully Skarmory and Mantine with shields can close you out. Alright, next up we got Aerodactyl, Emolga, and Articuno. So Articuno is a very interesting one in this cup, if you line it up against a Altaria, it's going to be freaking hilarious. But yes, you can use Altaria in this cup, but generally I don't like using Altaria, but it still works out. For this cup, this is the first team, well, not the first team I featured with Aerodactyl lead, but Aerodactyl lead is where you're mostly set everything. Emolga is your stage switch. Articuno closes out. Again, Articuno is interesting because its ability to get so many charge moves off, and along with that, you can play with the Icy Wind debuff. Yes, I've seen some crazy people with Articunos. The only thing about Articuno is that if you blind up against Aerodactyl, you die. Very, 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 very fast. So, this team is basically just designed, very, very standard team, or very, if you don't have an Articuno built, don't worry about it. However, yes, you can use Articuno in this cup, and it does really well, with the exception of Aerodactyl and Skarmory. Steel Wing and Rock Throw will absolutely shred through Articuno. As you see here, Aerodactyl wins in a mere 8 Rock Throws. This is why we don't have Articuno lead. We use our Aerodactyl and Emolga to tear your opponent in half, and then hopefully Articuno with shields can close out. In Great League, Articuno is still a little bulky, but again, against Steel Wing, Skarm, Zap, Aerodactyl, or just basically any of the electric types, it's not a great mon. But against a lot of the other mons, other than the top 4 like I mentioned, it can do a decent amount of work. And last but not least, this is the ABB team of the Flying Cup, Aerodactyl, Emolga, and Zapdos. So if you are willing to shut out an Elite TM on Zapdos for Thundershock, this team is destructive. And you it's very hard to stop double Thunder even with something like Altaria, because it does neutral damage. Thunder does neutral, or Electric does neutral damage. So this team is extremely bulky. This team will essentially, these two have the fastest charging moves in the game. So your back row will charge like a monster, and it will absolutely rip your opponent's shields for Aerodactyl to set up Aerodactyl to sweep. Yes, it has an F for bulk, but A's across the board absolutely shreds through a lot of the meta. As you see, this cover, Aerodactyl, Emolga, and Zapdos cover each other very well, or well, the lead and the back row cover each other very well, with your only literal problem being Aerodactyl. However, Emolga and Zapdos have a very strong matchup against Aerodactyl for the reason that Aerodactyl can't take a charge move from Emolga or Zapdos. You're gonna get zapped. You're gonna get electrocuted. It's going to be what you would call it, Zenitsu. Zenitsu is gonna thunderclap and flash the unholy hell out of your elo. And the one that's gonna get clapped is you, or your opponent, because that's gonna be a whole lot of elo. Thunderclap and flash Zenitsu. As ridiculous as Zenitsu is in the anime, when he is awake, when he is asleep, he absolutely destroys and shreds your opponents to oblivion. Or at least he's when he's asleep, he's a freaking monster. So this is Sleepy Zenitsu team. So when Zenitsu is asleep, guess what? Zenitsu goes to town, and it has the lowest threat score I've designed out of any team. This team will get you a lot of freaking dubs, just because, like I mentioned, the back row threatens very, very hard. It will take a bunch of shields from your opponent, and you can leave shields for Zapdos or Aerodactyl, and it will absolutely shred through your opponent. It's extremely dangerous. So if you have any elite fast TM Zapdos, this team is for you, and this is likely the main squad I will be running for the Flying Cup as well. It's nuts, powerful, and it's absolutely going to shred through your opponent. And it does have the lowest threat score I think I've ever seen in any team building aspect, just because it's that freaking good. And that's GG's. I hope y'all enjoyed the video. Again, the Flying Cup is going to be an insane amount of fast move, or just an insane amount of damage to begin with. There's not a lot of strategy I can tell you, other than what you can manifest through your battles. So it's really up to you how you want to play it out. But again, it's essentially the Aerodactyl Cup. You're gonna kill Aerodactyl, or you're gonna have Aerodactyl. So that's how it is. And it's a very merciless cup, so if you want to skip it and then move on to the next one, by all means, it's up to you. But if you would do me a huge favor, please like and subscribe. I really do appreciate it. Hit the subscribe button, mash the like button. I don't like that phrase, mash the like button, because you can dislike the video at the same time, but yeah. Please like and subscribe. And also, for those of you that are in the Stuffle Squad, please comment. I have this fun thing called the Stuffle Squad, and it's a little fun. Whoever invented it, I love y'all because it's hilarious. But yes, also comment for the YouTube algorithm. Stuffle Squad, y'all know what to do. And also, I stream on Twitch Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, 6:30, 7:30 usually is when I'll start. I don't usually do Pokemon Go mainly. I do other things, but if you have a question about teams, I'm more than willing to answer them on that. As far as that goes, I'm not really keen on streaming my battles since I do YouTube for them, you know what I mean? If you're gonna do one dimension, you could do the other one, but it's like Pogo PvP just doesn't have that much depth or interest to me at this point to really kind of put it out there. That's why I've kind of stopped doing the PvP tutorial series, because at this point, there's really nothing solid about PvP. PvP is so godforsakenly broken. You could put a tutorial out there to try to tell someone how it works, but because the game is so broken, nothing is really set in stone. Things will change. You could probably do a top 5 video on the top 5 Go Battle Lag moments, etc., or like top 5 Go, like, the top 5 lagging, the top 5 malfunctions in PvP that really piss you off, and probably that's something I'm gonna do. But I saw the poll out there, and Pokemon Go PvP and mental illness and esports wise will be going out there. Just to put that out there, my view on Pokemon Go PvP on esports isn't good. That's not just my assessment, that's other senior producers, project managers that I know from the San Francisco Bay Area, other games that are way bigger than Niantic, because Niantic only commands Niantic commands a lot of the game, not the gaming, but the reason why it's so popular is 1, it's Pokemon, and 2, it's the only AR game that really resembles Pokemon Go if it were to go in real life. So those are the 2 factors. But yeah, I don't really have a giant positive view about Pokemon Go being PvP eSport just because it's been so long. Long story short, if it took me that long to do, like, I like comparing to my job in Afghanistan. If in my 8-month tour in Afghanistan, if I did what Niantic did, I would have got fired, because I did not have a lot of time to get to start the entire Air Force and some of our brother and sister units to start drawing down Afghanistan, because I was the last rotation of Operation Enduring Freedom, and I had a bigger job than I thought I did. But yeah, Niantic is a terrible company. Niantic is not out there, and they do a really great job of making money though. So that's one thing I gotta give them. But other than that, expect that content to come out soon. Good luck on y'all Go Battle League sets, and I will see you on the next video.
That I need, all the things that I have craved, these are what I could have received.